Imagine leaving behind everything you've ever known, your home, your land, your country, to cross an unpredictable ocean in a small wooden ship, not knowing if you'll live to see land again. It's September 1620. A ship called the Mayflower is about to embark on one of the most famous journeys in history, carrying a group of people who would forever shape the story of America. But who were these people? Why were they willing to risk it all? And what really happened on that fateful voyage? Stay with us as we uncover the dramatic and inspiring story of the Mayflower's departure from Plymouth and its incredible voyage to the New World. Welcome to Earth Sights on This Day series, where we dive deep into the events that changed the course of history. Today, we're exploring the departure of the Mayflower from Plymouth, England, in September 1620. A turning point that would lay the foundation for what would become the United States of America. To understand why the Mayflower set sail, we need to go back to early 17th century England. At this time, the Church of England was the official state church, and everyone was expected to follow its practices. Those who didn't risk fines, imprisonment, or worse. One small group of believers, known as the Separatists, disagreed with the Church of England. They believed the church was beyond saving and wanted to completely break away to form independent congregations. But this was illegal. Refusing to attend official services meant facing punishment, so life became very hard for them. In search of religious freedom, the Separatists fled England and settled in the Netherlands, where tolerance was greater. But their new life wasn't easy. They faced economic hardships and worried about losing their English identity as their children began speaking Dutch and adopting local customs. They wanted a future where they could live by their own beliefs and keep their culture alive, sail across the Atlantic, and start a new life in a land where they could govern themselves and practice their faith freely. This decision led them to the Mayflower voyage. But there is a common misconception. Many people think the passengers on the Mayflower were Puritans, but that's a misunderstanding. The Puritans and the Separatists were very different. Puritans wanted to reform the Church of England and make it more pure. They didn't want to separate completely. Later, in the 1630s, many Puritans migrated to New England and established strict religious communities where they often persecuted those who disagreed with them. The Mayflower passengers, however, were Separatists, also known as Pilgrims. They didn't want to purify the church. They wanted to leave it entirely and create independent churches where they could worship freely. So while both groups left England for religious reasons, their goals were different. Pilgrims sought separation and freedom, while Puritans sought reform and control. 102 passengers packed into a space no bigger than an average city apartment, dark, damp, and reeking of sickness. The Mayflower's passengers weren't allowed on deck most of the time because of storms. So they spent nearly the entire 66-day voyage in the cramped between decks area. What did they eat? Mostly hard biscuits, salted meat, dried peas, and beer. Yes, beer was safer than water back then. What about hygiene? There were no toilets as we know them today, only buckets. Privacy? Forget it. Add in violent Atlantic storms tossing the ship like a toy, seasickness, and a constant fear of sinking, and you start to understand the sheer misery they endured. One passenger and one crew member died during the voyage, while a baby was even born at sea. They named him Oceanus. After 2 brutal months, the Mayflower sighted land on November 9th, 1620. Relief swept through the ship, but it wasn't Virginia. They were far north, at Cape Cod in present-day Massachusetts. Winter was closing in fast, and sailing south was too dangerous. They had no choice but to settle where they were. Before going ashore, they created something historic, the Mayflower Compact, an agreement to form a self-governing community. This was a radical idea for its time and would influence future American democracy. Finally, on December 1620, and after the 66 days at sea, the Pilgrims stepped ashore at what we now call Plymouth Rock. But their struggle was far from over. Nearly half of them would die that first winter from disease and starvation. And yet, their story became a cornerstone of American history. It's an incredible story of courage and resilience, and it all started with that departure from Plymouth. If you found this journey through history fascinating, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. Thank you for watching and learning with Earthsight. Until next time, keep exploring history